Morning, friends. It's still St. Patrick's Day, not quite 10 a.m. That means March 17th, 2019. And I recorded a video earlier this morning, actually. I wanted to add to that in the story of Dawn Wicca, my wife, that she did go to Ireland as well. I talked about her going to Glastonbury or Stonehenge and things like that. She went to see sacred well sites, wells, as in water wells in Ireland with her two friends, Gail and Elizabeth, and that was before her diagnosis, and they had tremendous amount of fun. And so Ireland is a theme today. It's St. Patrick's Day. And then forward from here, I just wanted to say regarding my blog structure. Let's say you've just joined my channel or watched your first video about me because it was autobiographical. So you came in searching on autobiographies, and now you want to know more about the blogs. Let's just say, like self-servingly, you want to know more about my blogs. Fine that you would ask. Well, no, a control room, you see, is one of the three, and it's sort of the headquarters. And the trope, I very consciously in the beginning chose control room, the beginning of this blog. I refer to a specific documentary about Al Jazeera, but there's the newsroom and the control room are similar. Lots of screens, monitoring the world, paying attention to everything, very also relating to dispatch like fire, 911, all kinds of emergency vehicles are sent out from dispatching's control center. Now, I'm not referring to any one in particular. I'm referring to a design pattern that we all know and we see in the movies and TV. So then, Bismo Diaries, that's like diaries in the sense of captain's log. Now, again, there is a movie in the background here. If you scroll to the beginning of the blog, you can find out which movie I'm talking about. The point being, Business Mobile will be dispatched from the control room to go do some business, get something done somewhere, right? And so we've got the control room is in charge of these, what I call Bismos. Now that's completely, let's see, we have, I think, a BizJet is newly entered into the Oxford, maybe Webster, I don't know which, dictionary. But Bismo, if you look it up, does not have the meaning I'm giving it yet, which is a business mobile. But these are sort of generic. Actually, in metaphorical terms, I'm fine with each one of us is driving a Bismo. And if you're going to go with the driver vehicle stereotype of a human, right, homunculus driving a body around, I'm fine with that being kind of ridiculous as an image, but let's go there. And the Bismo is your business mobile. It's your body. It's what you pilot. So we can have it be that too, just like Bucky's dome could be. We all live in a dome, right? He used to do that. We all live in a dome kind of thing. And then grain of sand, that is kind of me as one individual playing the game. Like I'd be in a crew being dispatched, or maybe I'm in a control room. I'm one of the players in this setup, one of the grains of sand, right? Maybe rotating roles like the Quakers cultivate, right? Your skills don't have to narrow to like one role your whole life. I also have a Coffee Shops Network blog that's very linked up here. That's kind of a funding mechanism in that it allows people to quote unquote gamble, which means play games of uncertain outcome, where you could win big if you're skillful or something and lucky, whatever. And in that case, you donate your winnings not back to yourself, but to a set of causes that this particular coffee shop supports, and thereby you become a champion and you become known because of your profile for how you donate, what your patterns are. And so people can donate to you, I suppose, if you create a company and so forth. We can have the same, we can recreate the same economy we already have. It's just a little recast. based in these coffee shop video game arcades where people learn philanthropy as a way of life. Because there you have to be back in the control room to understand, about investment and so on. You basically need to go back to that monitoring role. So I'm taking us full circle back to the control room, which is also about funding or allocating. When you fund something, that's kind of the same as giving energy to. Like when I decide to lift my hand, I'm funding my arm there. I'm funding it with ATP, ADP. I'm discharging the battery. And, your investment is each motion you make. You could say, by the way, I wanted to end too with a shout out to Christian Science for the Maparium. I haven't been to it forever and ever. It's okay to hide my face because I have a microphone back here. But this is in Boston, right? This is a control room kind of idea that Christian Science came up with. And I think as part of, that was part of their control room. Off to the side, there's more like radio where you can talk to anybody in the world. And this is what they could imagine realistically at the time. It was kind of a museum diorama, it's a relic at this point. But every culture, I think, that wants to be responsible, there's the dark side of being imperial and be the one to boss everyone else. But then there's also just to know what's going on. More like the Swiss bank stereotype from older times, maybe, where you're not necessarily actively interfering with anything, but you're definitely keeping track of what's happening. So control room can be more or less active. Monitoring station, there's a whole range. Bismo can mean many things. Grain of sand can mean many things. I'm trying to create a pattern of patterns that doesn't necessarily anchor you to any one scenario. But let me just end with a little more on the Bismo fantasy. When you get to your vehicle in the fleet garage, you can still customize it. There's lots of these vehicles here. But you've been working on your own look and feel. You've got your favorite apps. You want your dashboards and your control panels, once you're inside the Bismo, to all light up with things that you know how to use, right? You don't need an alien control panel, all new APIs every time you jump from one to another. So these things are like laptops, like computers. These things you drive around in can have their sort of operating system downloaded from the cloud, and that can follow you around. So as you go to different Bismos, you've got your cloud-based OS that you can download because you understand it. Now, we don't need you to get totally stuck in a rut. I mean, there may be trainings you need to do to learn other, depending on your task and your role in your Bismo. I'm not saying every operating system is as good as any for everything. Way more economy here than one guy like me can tackle, of course. So I'm trying to create a lifestyle concept, and it's based in institutional wealth. In other words, like in the military, I don't want to personally have to own all these billions of dollars worth of vehicles, or the Bismo fleet should not be any one person's possession, because in the sense that they have to manage them all. You don't want a bottleneck. So you just want to have good software system that people understand and know how to maintain this machine. Now, there's steering functions that people have to perform. I acknowledge roles, but I don't want to own the Bismo in my driveway. I want to check one out and check it back in, more like a rental car, because the economies of scale, right? Anyway, that's the vision, and talk to you later.